Thank you very much. It's a real pleasure for me to be connected to you today. Unfortunately, Minister Kikilias, esteemed members of the maritime community, ladies and gentlemen, as I said, it's a great privilege to address you today, although I cannot be with you in person in light of the rapidly evolving situation in the Middle East, which requires, as you understand, my presence here in Brussels to ensure full readiness and coordination at this critical juncture, even though I had planned to be with you at this very important Economist Shipping Summit. But before we start, allow me to give you a quick update on the situation. Developments in the Middle East continue to have serious implications, as you know, for transport safety and security. The conflict zone information bulletin issued on February 28th remains in force until the end of Friday 6, when we will reassess the situation. Approximately 1,800 flights per day have been cancelled and around 300 flights rerouted on a daily basis. The maritime situation in the Persian Gulf, particularly in the Strait of Hormuz, remains very serious, with over 3,000 vessels at this time, including 593 EU flagged and EU interest ships affected in the area. I'm working closely during these past 4 days with IATA, with IMO, with our member states, with our counterparts in the region, with industry, to try to support safe passage, mitigate risks, monitor potential impacts on global supply chains, and most importantly, to protect our citizens, because this is our top priority. So, ladies and gentlemen, at the same time, as you probably know, yesterday I presented our new European Industrial, Maritime and Port strategies. And today I would like to refer to them. It's really timely that we meet today, as they set the framework, basically, for Europe's response to the profound transformation of our maritime sector, just as we heard earlier from the previous speaker. Europe's history, it's needless to say, is inseparable from the sea. For centuries, our prosperity, our security, our global outlook have been shaped by maritime enterprise. Greece stands as the most powerful example, with its world-leading shipping tradition, its vibrant marine manufacturing cluster, and the renewed momentum given to its shipyards, including in naval shipbuilding. Yet, while we gather in Europe, our discussion today is unmistakably global in scope. Shipping carries more than 80% of world trade. It connects continents, it sustains supply chains, it underpins food and energy security, drives economic development across every region of the world. And when maritime routes are disrupted, whether in the Red Sea, the Black Sea, or the Straits of Hormuz, the repercussions are immediate and worldwide. So the challenges we face are not regional, they are systemic. Geopolitical tensions are reshaping trade flows. Supply chains are increasingly exposed to strategic pressure. The energy transition is accelerating, but unevenly. New technologies are transforming operations and business models. And at the same time, global competition in shipping and shipbuilding and maritime manufacturing is intensifying, often backed by powerful state-supported industrial strategies. So the global environment in which shipping operates has fundamentally changed. For decades, efficiency was our guiding principle, moving goods from A to B at the lowest cost defined success. Today, efficiency must be matched by resilience and adaptiveness, as it was heard earlier. Competitiveness must be anchored in security, and openness must be balanced with fairness. So without industrial capacity, without secure ports, without skilled maritime professionals, no region, not Europe, not Asia, not the Americas, can claim genuine economic sovereignty. This is why We launched yesterday the Industrial Maritime Strategy and the EU Ports Strategy. So let me be clear. These are not inward-looking initiatives. They are Europe's contribution to a stronger, more resilient global maritime system. Our Industrial Maritime Strategy is built around 6 priorities: strengthening the shipbuilding and repair capacity, enhancing connectivity, securing critical infrastructure, accelerating innovation, mobilizing finance, and investing in skills and quality jobs. We are supporting the digital transformation of shipyards and establishing a maritime value chain alliance to reinforce cooperation across the entire ecosystem. And we will deploy our regulatory and financial instruments responsibly to safeguard competitiveness and uphold high standards, including through the EU flags, which, as you know, are recognized worldwide as symbols of safety, reliability, and quality. But Europe's ambition is not to fragment markets. It is to ensure that global competition remains fair. We must address distortions created by aggressive subsidies. We must confront the risks of supply chain weaponization. And we must tackle the rise of shadow fleets that undermine safety, environmental protection, and international law. Now, on decarbonization, the same logic applies. Climate change is a global challenge. Maritime decarbonization must therefore be global in scope. Our companies need access to reliable and competitively priced alternative fuels. And through the Global Gateway Green Shipping Corridors, we are partnering with countries around the world to scale up clean fuels, develop infrastructure, and mobilize investment. And at the same time, we will continue to work constructively within the International Maritime Organization to ensure, and this is very important, that global measures deliver real emission reductions and preserve a genuine level playing field. However, we have to be clear. We cannot allow, and we will not allow, double burden for our shipping, which means that we cannot afford regional measures. So when we will reach an agreement at IMO, we have to adapt. And that is why we will review our policies here in the European Union in order to make sure that there is no double payment. And one more thing, ETS. The ETS money has to return to the sector. And this is why, in our review of the ETS in June, we will deal with this as well, because member states, unfortunately, are not using the ETS money for the sector and the transition. Now, innovation will also reshape our industry. Automation, digitalization, advanced propulsion systems are no longer distant prospects. They are rapidly becoming operational realities. And Europe will intensify its support for research, innovation, provide regulatory clarity for the testing and the deployment of new technologies, and safeguard critical know-how. Here too, international cooperation will be indispensable. Now, for all of this to happen, investment is critical in Europe and worldwide. So through the Connecting Europe facility, which is the budget of transport and infrastructure, we will support fleet renewal and decarbonization. We are also encouraging member states to reinvest, as I said, the ETS revenues into maritime infrastructure and clean fuels. Yet, public funding alone is not enough. Global capital markets, development banks, private investors all have a decisive role to play in scaling up the transition. And we must never lose sight of the human dimension. The future of shipping depends on skilled seafarers, on engineers, on port workers all across the continents. Training, upskilling, fair working conditions are not regional concerns. They are shared global responsibilities. So the digital and green transitions must create quality jobs, strengthen social standards, and maintain the highest levels of safety worldwide. 2 words on the port strategy. Ports, as you know, are strategic nodes in the global system as well. They're gateways for trade, energy hubs, industrial clusters, and critical infrastructure for security and military mobility as well. And as geopolitical risks intensify, so too does the imperative to protect them, physically and digitally. So with the strategy we presented yesterday on the EU ports, we are reinforcing resilience against organized crime, cyber threats, strategic vulnerabilities linked to the control of critical infrastructure. And at the same time, we are accelerating energy projects and electrification to ensure that ports can lower the fleets of tomorrow. Because if ports cannot power the fleets of tomorrow, then there is no tomorrow in shipping. And that's what our main concern will be. But resilience cannot stop at our borders. Cooperation on port security, customs standards, digital interoperability, and supply chain transparency must deepen at an international level. And that's what we are going to do in the coming months. Ladies and gentlemen, maritime policy today is no longer simply transport policy. It is industrial policy, it is climate policy, it is security policy. And Europe remains committed to open seas governed by international law. We believe in rules-based trade, reciprocal market access, and strong multilateral institutions. And our strategies are not about isolation. They are about responsible leadership. In an increasingly fragmented world, the maritime community carries a unique responsibility. The sea connects us all. It reminds us that no nation can navigate these waters alone. So if we work together, governments, industry, international partners, we can ensure that global shipping remains safe, competitive, and sustainable. That is Europe's commitment. And I'm certainly looking forward to advancing these policies with all of you. So thank you again for your invitation today. I'm sorry again not being able to be physically there with you, but I'm looking forward to one of our next meetings. And I congratulate again the Economist on this really, really important forum. Thank you.